Hey folks, it's Cement once again. Welcome back to another review. This time of Only the Lonely. I think the song that was done by Roy Orbison. Could be wrong on that. But Only the Lonely, 1991 film starring John Candy, Maureen O'Hara, who had been retired for like 20 years and then came back to do this film as John Candy's mom. She had done films with John Wayne like The Quiet Man, Big Jake, among other films. You also have Ali Sheedy, who is in, not Shitty, Sheedy. The Breakfast Club, Short Circuit. I'm trying to think what else she was in. You also have Anthony Quinn. You have a very tiny cameo appearance by Macaulay Culkin. You have a supporting role with James Belushi. After that, I've seen quite a few films. Kevin Dunn. And it's written and directed by Chris Columbus, who had done Adventures in Babysitting, Home Alone 1 and 2, Mrs. Doubtfire, the first two Harry Potter films, and Pixels. And this is the Anchor Bay DVD, which has a little 7-minute featurette from back in the day, has a trailer and a TV spot. I thought this was an okay, sweet little movie. It's not, I didn't think it was laugh out loud hilarious. I thought that the pace at times was a bit sluggish. It's an hour and 45 minutes, and honestly, I think about 15 minutes or so could have been cut out. The mom character, I mean, she's not supposed to be that likable, but I don't know if I really buy her change at the end. Just about a big chunk of the film, she's kind of this bitchy, racist character. But, I mean, John Candy, I thought, did a good job. I like James Belushi. I wish he was in the film more, honestly. This shows that John Candy can do drama as well as comedy. And it shows that he is a good actor. Like, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles in this film, they show that he's a good actor. And if you gave him the chance, he could have been some really damn good dramatic roles as well as comedy. I'm not sure if I bought the chemistry between John Candy and Ali Sheedy. Like, performance-wise, I thought they were okay. Well, John Candy, I really enjoyed. Ali Sheedy, she's okay, but at the same time, she's supposed to be playing this very quiet, shy introvert. So some people may think that she's a bit boring, but that's the kind of character she's trying to play, is this who doesn't show a lot of emotion. Again, I'm not sure if I bought their chemistry 100%, but it was alright. I've seen better, but I've seen way worse. And this was actually produced by John Hughes, but he didn't write it. Chris Columbus wrote it. If it seems like I'm picking on the film, it's not that bad. I'm not trying to make it seem like it's a bad film. I liked it okay. But it was a thing with 1991 where he did these two films. I thought they were okay. I will say, of them, Nothing But Trouble came out in 1991, and I like that more than these two. But they're still, if you're a fan of John Candy, they're worth a look. This one is more of a sweet, nice little love story where John Candy's a cop in Chicago, and he has this domineering mother played by Maureen O'Hara. And from time to time, John Candy will be guilted into staying with his mom because he'll have these flashes, like these nightmares or daymares, because he's still awake, about his mom getting these horrible situations and dying because he wasn't there, or because he was out here having a good time at a game, or and that plays in him why he's lonely. And he meets Ali Sheedy, who is this mortician, and he's trying to have a relationship with her, while at the same time can he let go of being with his mom. You know what? There's another movie that dealt not. There's a movie with Albert Brooks called Mother, and It doesn't deal with a romance aspect, but about a guy dealing with his mom. I thought that was a funnier movie, and I would say I like that movie much more. If you've, yes, Albert Brooks. I forget what year it came out, but it's called Mother. But for the most part, I thought the cast did good. Anthony Quinn was fun. He's a neighbor who really likes Maureen O'Hara, but she keeps turning him down. Anthony Quinn, he's a really good actor. I remember him from the Hercules TV show as Zeus, and a few of the, I think it was the TV movies he was in. And Anthony Quinn is a good actor. I think he was also in Last Action Hero. I enjoyed him in that. But yeah, John Candy keeps having these nightmares. Like his mom, like if he doesn't go to bingo with her, his mom will die, and by falling into this place here and breaking her neck, and that's why he can't go to the ball game now. He's got to go with his mom to bingo. Once in a while, James Belushi pops up as John Candy's partner, and mainly it's about him and talking about sex. Like he's not having sex with his wife, and he bought like a love enhancer device, but she freaked out, so now he's on the couch. And Kevin Dunn plays John Candy's brother, and that's where we get a little bit with Macaulay Culkin, and I think his brother Kieran Culkin, who is the sons of Kevin Dunn. You see them like a little bit, which I thought. I wonder how differently this would have been if they knew Home Alone would have been that big of a hit. Because I wonder if this film was in production. No. Well, Home Alone came out in November 1990. This came out in the around, I think, the summer of 91. So I'm not sure if this was in production, if they knew how big Home Alone was. I guess maybe they would have known. Yeah, they probably would have known. I'm just surprised Macaulay Culkin had such a little cameo, nothing role. I'm like, he's the star of like the biggest comedy hit of that time, and now he's in a little cameo in this one. I thought that was, and it's the same director. And then they returned for the sequel, Home Alone 2, like a year after this. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. But John Candy meets the mortician, Ali Sheedy, because this one person. No, I'm not going to get into it. Well, these two guys have brought this other guy who's dead, and it was his wish for all of us to have one more drink after he dies. And John Candy tells him, "You need to bring him back. That's not the right thing to do." And that's where he goes to talk with her. And you have some good dramatic scenes, or some good scenes where John Candy shows his acting, like when he goes to her. Let me just list off all the possible reasons you may not want to go out with me on Saturday. And he lists them. Let me guess, you're doing your hair. You need to babysit someone. You need to do this. She's free. He's excited. One moment I thought was funny is when he comes out. He's like, yeah. And there's a bunch of people carrying a coffin. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's just, I just got lucky in there with a girl. And they look at him like, no, no, not like that. Well, she does everybody in there. And they looked at him again. No, no, not in that way. I mean, she probably did that guy in there. And he's trying to explain like she does the fixing up, the mortician stuff. But I thought that was a pretty funny scene. But I don't think there's enough of that laugh out loud funny stuff in the movie. So I think it's okay, like some smirks as a comedy. So I don't know. Maybe if you looked at this as more of a little bit more dramatic, a little bit of a love story, maybe. But like I said, I don't know if the chemistry between John T and Ali Sheedy is there 100%. Like I've seen, I think his chemistry with his wife in Summer Rental, I forget the actress's name. I thought the chemistry was there more. Or there's been other films. I'm just not sure if I saw a lot of it in this. But I thought individually John and Ali did a good job. I'm not sure if they were the right fit together. That's just my opinion on it. But they have dinner at a baseball field, and Allie explains that she's really shy and quiet and introverted. You have this one little slapstick scene where John Candy and James Belushi have to get this body out. And it's like, well, I don't want to go all the way down the stairs. So they use a fire hose and they ease him down. There's not enough hose. And so it rips and it falls to the ground. You don't see anything graphic like that. You just hear the sound effect. Which was an alright scene. It was an alright. And the mother, I mean, I think the actress does a good job. I mean, but of course, it's supposed to be, the script is trying to tell us how much of a bitch she is, really. She's so racist. But that's the point of the film. So she's racist against Sicilians and Greeks, Italians, and especially Sicilians, and like they go have dinner, and the mom goes to Allie. Oh, she has no breasts, and you're built like a 13-year-old boy, and oh, you're part Polish. Well, let me tell this story about how this Polish person I knew was very stupid. That she thought this cow, because she was black, gave out chocolate milk, and Allie, of course, gets pissed about this and gets pissed at John, saying, "Well, why didn't you fight for me?" Now, before this, as you explained, they had met in their room and made love in their room, and he has to sneak her out so the mom doesn't find out, and that leads to this dinner. I'm like, I don't really blame Allie, where she's being said all this awful shit, and John doesn't say anything. But I like the scene. Like I said, this shows the John can do drama. Is the scene where he confronts his mom about this, and he calls on his mom. And honestly, this scene seems like something that should have been at the end of the film, not in the middle of the film. Like, this seems like the scene that would culminate the film. Because he calls on his mom for hurting folks, and this dad tells a story about how his dad is a count, and it would have made him a lot of money, and he had this deal, and his boss was over at dinner, but the mom had told it like it is, and mentioned some remark about Jews and Jewish, and that his count was lost, and it was the only time he heard his dad cry. And it was a good scene, but yeah, it seems like something that would belong at the end of the film. Not To me, it's such a good scene that the stuff after it kind of dramatic-wise pales a little bit in comparison to that. Just after that, you have the mom coming in to the locker room where the cops are at. And Jonty's like, "Jesus, Mom, what are you doing here?" And she's like, "Fine, you can marry her." But then his brother Kevin Dunn's like, "Don't rush into getting married." I do like John Candy telling his brother off, "You want me to feel guilty for one of the same things that you have? Fuck you." He gets slapped by Kevin Dunn, and John Candy just punches him. I'm sorry. You know what? No, I'm not sorry for doing that. So that was another. Like, there's some good dramatic scenes for John Candy, and a handful of good comedic moments. But again, he has like a rehearsal dinner, and he has another nightmare or daymare that his mom dies, and this is about the third or fourth time he's had it throughout the film. And she gets upset. It's like, what, you went and you called her? Are we ever going to be alone? When you don't have her, stop making you feel guilty. I'm like, but didn't we get over that when John Candy confronted her? So it's like, now he's got to, you know what I mean? Maybe not. Maybe I'm not explaining it right. And then they sort of call off the wedding that they were going to have. And I do like the moment where Belushi is with John Candy, and he's trying to figure out what went wrong. And Belushi goes, "What? She wanted to do it like a corpse?" I mean, I liked Belushi. I wanted to see more of him in it. But a friend of John Candy's dies. They're at his funeral, and he realizes, you know what, I have something special here. And his mom goes to Florida, and they say their goodbyes. And Anthony Quinn, he decides to join the mom. And Anthony Quinn is fun. And they go off on a plane to Florida, and John Candy finds Ali Sheedy again. And this just feels like a repeat, because before he had apologized to her and says, okay, can you marry me? And then it's like he does get in with a relationship, obstacle, then here we go. But then there's an obstacle again, and then here we go again. I'm like, you just gave me almost like two endings. And the second one just isn't as fulfilling as the first. I don't know. It sounds stupid. I think the John Candy confronting his mom and then his mom going, I don't mean to hurt people, that feels like an ending. This whole thing with having another one, and then John Candy has another fantasy daymare of, oh, his mom on the plane, but this time he's over it, and his mom is fighting these bad guys and tells him it'll be okay, and then he's going to be okay with Ali Sheedy. I don't know, just the ending kind of left me ho-hum, like, okay, that's the way it ends, alright. I mean, it's an okay... It's worth a watch for John Candy's performance. And it's not like it's a bad film. Acting-wise, Maureen O'Hara is good acting-wise. James Belushi is good. Anthony Quinn, I like him. Ali Sheedy does not do bad acting-wise. There's a couple of moments that made me smirk. I think the love story is so-so, but there's some good drama acting moments by John Candy. I just don't know if these two really shared the best of chemistry. I don't know if the ending, like, I think about 15 minutes of this film could have been cut out. I don't think you needed the cancel the wedding, and then the friend dies, and then that's where he's like, oh, I don't want to be alone. And then there's that whole thing. It just, I thought it was a bit sluggishly paced. It wasn't that laugh out loud funny, and I thought the love story was a bit so-so. So people are like, well, do you really like the film? Kind of like Delirious. I think they're okay. This is okay because I like the premise and I like John Candy. This is, I think, okay because it's got some good drama from John Candy as the lead, and the actors do fine. It's just I do think these are step down from Summer Rental, step down from Spaceballs, Armed and Dangerous, The Great Outdoors, Planes, Trains, Automobiles. I think Nothing But Trouble was better. That's me. I think they're okay, but they're okay. I mean, they're worth to watch for John Candy. That's just... It's hard to explain what I'm feeling. I'm trying to do my best, but anyway, I don't know how else to explain it. But thanks for watching. Take care. These are just my opinions. Be like, no shit, it's your review. Whose else opinion is it going to be? But thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.